1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. About 10.5 million children are not in school, even though primary education is officially free and compulsory. In the north of the country, the picture is even bleaker, with a net attendance rate of 53%. Getting out-of-school children back into education poses a massive challenge. The education deprivation in northern Nigeria is driven by various factors, including economic barriers and social-cultural norms and practices that discourage attendance in formal education, especially for girls. The Almajiri, as they are called, pupils of Islamic education popularly practiced in northern Nigeria and some parts of neighboring West Africa. Their clothes shaggy, their heads unkempt and infested with lice, their feet caked, cracked and calloused. The word Almajiri derived from the Arabic word al-Muhajirun, loosely translated in English to mean a person who leaves his home in search of Islamic knowledge. This is an Almajiri school located at the foot of one of the mountains that dot the city of Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. It is a typical day, but not for 13-year-old Ismail Zubairu. He sits on this rock passively watching the day go by. He's unable to partake in whatever games his friends are playing as a result of a fracture he sustained after being hit by a car while begging for his daily bread. He was ferried over 300 kilometers away from his home in Niger State and can barely remember how long he's been here studying the Holy Quran.
What are you Agarumpa? Munabaran. Kulum muke ra alamis ne ba mu. Muna tabara.
The ugly Almajiri phenomenon of begging on the streets after taking their daily Quranic classes left him with a fractured leg that is infected and far from getting healed. Rabili Inwa, who is also 13, hails from Katsina State, over 500 kilometers away.
Gaskiya ni ban san ko sai karata nawa ba. Malam mana ba mu. Yana ba mu kuma muna zuwa bara. A radda dai muna karatu muna shiga nan dutsen ne muna yin bara giraji. Ai ala alamis ranar ana daga mana ne ba mu karatu ra alamis. Sai mu je cikin kubuwa ra alamis. Mara juma'a muna dan shiga gwarin fa. Muna hawa mashin ne mu je galadima. Muna yau mun samu muna yau bara. Kudin da muka samu yau mu je. The
National Council for the Welfare of Destitute puts the current population of Almajiri at about 7 million. The Almajiri culture epitomizes child abuse, social inclusion and chronic poverty in all ramifications.
The Almajiri child is a child that every Nigerian should be concerned about. Children should not be on the street, that we know so well. And children should not be undergoing labor. Children should be in school. They should be taught. They should be under the care of their parents. Children should be in the family to grow and be nurtured for. That is what we know in Whatcliff. And the family may not be the natural family now where the child is born. It could be the community. So the community where you see Almajiris around, I think there's a question that we should ask. Who caters for these children? There are different caregivers. As journalists, I'm sure because this is a concern issue, you are a caregiver already. Whatcliff is a caregiver. We have social workers, they are caregiver. What are the clerics doing about it? We have religious organizations. So there are different people that protect, different stakeholders that can protect children. But basically, a child should be protected in the family. That is where the child is born. That is where have the father and the mother. We are sorry that some families are dysfunctional. We may not have a father, may have a mother. That is where a child should grow and be nurtured and protected. They should be protected from harm. A child being on the street is harmful.
The Almajiri phenomenon has been lingering for years and has even become a source of embarrassment for not just Nigeria, but for all the neighboring African nations. These three young boys, Bashar Lawal, Abu Sufyan Lawal, who are siblings, and Abdulaziz Lawal, also study at Madrasatul Madinatul Islamiyya. According to the proprietor, the Islamic school accommodates children that are either mentally derailed or obstinate. Method of treatment: putting them in chains.
Kamar mutum da dan ciwon hauka ne wani wuri sai a kawo shi kuma nan muna bara taimaka mutum da ciwon hauka yaro ko ya dan boye haka ya dan shaye-shaye irin suke fama da shi wuri to sai aka zanga sunan mu kuma suna wasu abincin da su magani su warke kware ko wannan bangaren ma hauka ta ne wannan sai an kai mutum magani can ko mutum ya sha trama ya juye to sai baban ya boye shi yana ta abubuwa sai ya kashi sai ba shi magani kuma Allah sai ya taimaka kuma sai ya warke tun wani dan samu suka ji daga su gudu a rasa inda suka tafi to sai mu dan tsare su na ba su magani da kuma abinci da abin da sauka.
This is Bashar Lawal, 18 years old, who was told is derailed.
Asalin mamana da babana 'yan Nijar ne. Ni kamar duk ranar babban sallah haka sai in ji jikina na mun ciwo, kirjina nan.
You don't chain a child because you're already affecting the child's level of behavior. You're affecting the child's level of recognizing stuff, cognitive behavior, cognitive aspects. You're also affecting the child physically, because I'm sure the chain wasn't just used on the child. I'm sure it's been used on several kids. So only God knows what disease the other child would have had, you understand, to have passed to the other child. So psychologically, I mean, that's child maltreatment, that's child abuse. You don't chain a child just because you feel the child shouldn't roam on the streets. I don't think that's the best way to tell the child not to do that, because if you have asked the child to, if you've chained the child, then what you have decided to do is disrupt the way he's going to be thinking, right? And then he would start to have so many things on his mind, which is like, before you know it, he's beginning to take substance, because he feels the best way to get out of these thoughts of what I'm going through is get something into my system and feel good.
Abandoned by their parents, neglected by communities, and left to live in unhealthy environments like this.
Lately, I was grieved in my heart when I saw how they were dying. And any of them that die, you see them come out in mass to go and dig the grave and bury their colleague. And the truth is that I doubt if their parents are aware that their words is no longer existing on earth, that they have expired, they are dead.
The often scruffy, ill-clad and deprived children always roam the streets in search of sustenance.
Gaskiya a musulunce ba haka ya kamata a yi ba. A musulunce shi ɗa idan Allah ya baka to ya ɗora nauyinsa a kanka ne.
wato kamar kayan Allah ne ya ce gashi ka aje min, kuma lalle ne cinsa da shansa da karantar da shi ya zama yana wuyanka. Da haka shi ba daidai bane a musulunci ka ɗauki ɗan nan ka cilla shi wani gari gurin wani wanda shi kuma ba ɗaukan nauyin da aka ce ka ɗauka ɗin zai ɗauka ba, ka je ka bar shi ya yi yawo a kan titi. Wannan ba daidai bane, ya saba ƙa'idar musulunci. Tsari shi na karatun almajiranci irin wanda kusan aka gada ba daidai bane a musulunci. Idan mutum yaro ya kasance yana da taɓin hankali, to akwai hanyar da za a bi a yi masa maganin taɓin hankali. Yaran da kuma ake cewa in sun fita ba za su dawo ba, to ai dama ba ƙa'ida ba ne a watsa su cikin gari a ce su je su dawo ɗin, tunda an san cewa ba galihu ba ne da su, dole ne za su je su nemi abin da za su ci. To abin da ya kamata shine in za a iya a samu gidan da za a tsare su, suna ciki suna walwala, ana ciyar da su, ana karantar da su, to haka ya kamata a yi. Amma a bar su shiga cikin gari su je su yi bara, wannan dama ba ka'ida bane ta musulunci.
The Almajiris have become a major source of social and economic problem to society at large, and have indeed been constituted as breeding grounds for violent conflicts. Members of the Nigerian House of Representatives have asked the federal government to declare child destitution and begging a national emergency.
Also call on the federal government to forward an executive bill to the National Assembly to enact a law for the criminalization of child destitution and street begging. Departments and agencies of government to collaborate with the organized private sector, international donor partners, and philanthropic high net worth individuals to support the new education structure of the Almajiris.
They are calling on government at all levels to ensure that children were provided with opportunities to access basic education as guaranteed by the United Nations Convention, while urging the Federal Ministry of Education to integrate the Almajiri system of education into the Universal Basic Education Program. The Almajiri system may be said to have outlived its purpose. Reforms with Almajiri schools have not had a meaningful impact on a system steeped in tradition and native culture. The world is changing, and rapidly too, and Nigeria is at the threshold of taking a decision to this menace. But when will this happen? What will happen to the Almajiri afterwards? How these questions are answered will become the most relevant factor if a solution is to be arrived at. For now, much is left to be seen. The Almajiri child, for so many years, have been a problem for northern Nigeria. Ideally, the Almajiri child is supposed to be cared for and nurtured for in an ideal Almajiri system.
Well, being on the Almajiri project was an experience that I will never forget in my life, because I saw another part of humanity that I've never seen before. Being on the field shooting with these kids was something that I'll never forget in my life. I saw what I've never seen before.
It was an opportunity for me to work with great minds like Mr. Symes and Zainab. When I was called to view the script, I was given the script and I saw the story. I couldn't believe what I was reading, and I went for myself and I had to see. What I saw was really, really terrible.
But it was difficult getting the children to say something because they were not straightforward. They were it's like they were scared and they didn't want to reveal certain things, but at the end of the day, we still got the little we were able to get. But the most interesting part was the chained kids we found, and then that even interested us more.
From my own point of view, I was holding the camera, but what was going on in my mind was entirely a different thing. Seeing these kids in chains, some of them with wounds on their legs. And one of the things that really touched me was the room where they were staying. It was very, very pathetic. It was something else for me to go into that room to shoot, because one, the room was very dark and it was smelling.
It's something everybody's not supposed to see as kids, but it's really heart-touching when you get to see kids on shackles, kids going through rigorous process, starving and being kept on in a tidy environment.
Their rooms were very enclosed and dark, but we needed to get what we wanted to get at that point in time, because we might not get the opportunity to record again. If they actually knew we were picking something like the chain part, if they really knew that was what interested us more, they wouldn't have allowed us record.
I think this is a story that we need to tell to the world. This is a story that people have never heard before, especially the part that they were chained is something I think the government should look into.
You definitely get to hear the untold story about these kids, about them leaving and coming to a gathering, thinking that this is what was promised, but that's not what they met.
So above all, it was interesting yet challenging.